Hi guys, and welcome to another Fool of the Week. This week's Fool is Suella Braverman, a former Home Secretary, and for the moment I believe a Conservative, because I believe she's going to defect to Reform UK. She aligns more with their politics than she does with the Tories, even though the Conservatives have moved very much to the right, far right even, over the last number of years. Now, she's talking here about the European Convention on Human Rights and why she wants the UK out of it. But she also mentions the Good Friday Agreement, which got me very interested. Have a listen to this.
It's the how that I think is more interesting and what we need to start talking about. And my paper and my film, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the summary of 10 minutes, if you don't have time to read the 52 pages, it sets out the how. It deals with the issue of Northern Ireland because the Belfast Good Friday Agreement makes reference to the European...
Well, you want it rewritten, don't you, Ms. Braverman?
Yeah, that's my plan. That's my proposal.
Good Lord. It took long enough to write it in the first place, didn't it?
Sorry?
It took long enough to get it written in the first place. Seeking to rewrite it, that's going to be quite a chore, quite a task, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's easy.
Okay. Calm down. Max, calm down. She wants to rewrite the Good Friday Agreement. Now, not everyone who watches this channel is an expert. I'm not an expert on Northern Ireland or the Good Friday Agreement. But just let me explain very quickly. The Good Friday Agreement was a combination of it was a group of people coming together. The British government, the Irish government, nationalist politicians, those who are pro-Irish, the unionist politicians who are pro-British, all coming together. Ex-paramilitaries coming together, all of these people coming together and realising we need to have peace in Northern Ireland. Now, some people did not agree with that, but that's a separate issue. But generally, there was a consensus we need to move away from violence. And there was compromise, there was a lot of agreement and disagreement that took place in order to have this agreement, this Good Friday Agreement, the Belfast Agreement, it's also called. It took years to get to the stage where people could trust each other. And now you have a former Home Secretary who says, well, we'll just rewrite it. It took years. Nick Ferrari is correct. It took years to write it, in the sense that it took years to bring people together to trust each other enough that they would sit down at the same table, they would shake hands, and they would sign up to this agreement. And some idiot who has no understanding of what went into it, doesn't give a flying F about what went into it, is planning to we'll just tear it up and rewrite it. I can't explain how stupid this is, how idiotic it is, how disconnected it is. She has no understanding of what went into the Good Friday Agreement, what came before, and obviously what came after. My goodness.
I'm not saying this is a walk in the park. I think with the right political will, these changes can be made. If you look at the history of the Belfast Agreement, it's been amended on several occasions.
The Belfast Agreement has not been amended. Legislation has been amended to suit it. Legislation in the UK has been amended to suit the Good Friday Agreement. Legislation in Ireland has been amended, changed to suit the Good Friday Agreement. It's not the Good Friday Agreement that changed, it's the legislation in the jurisdictions of the UK and Ireland that changed.
In the last 2 decades, sometimes with the consent of all of the parties of Northern Ireland, sometimes without it. But in every instance, the UK Parliament has passed changes in our laws, the Northern Ireland Act, to change the functioning and substance of the Belfast Good Friday.
No. He didn't change the Good Friday Agreement or the Belfast Agreement. You even said it. We introduced legislation. The Human Rights Act was to facilitate the Good Friday Agreement. It didn't change the Good Friday Agreement.
Agreement. So to suggest that it's somehow a sacrosanct document that is immune from any kind of change would be wrong.
Look, no one is saying that. But they're saying that if you were to change it, you would have to have agreement with the parties that were involved. you'd have to have the agreement of the nationalist community, you'd have to have the agreement of the unionist community, you'd have to have the agreement of the Irish frigging government, because they were part of it as well. Like, she just seems to think it's like a piece of legislation. Well, we just have a vote in Parliament and fly it through. No, it doesn't work like that. You have zero understanding of the Good Friday Agreement. And this is a sitting politician. This is not somebody, some idiot pulled off the street. No offense to idiots on the street. But this is a former Home Secretary, somebody who wanted to be leader of the Conservative Party, and she has zero understanding of the Good Friday Agreement. She's aligned herself over the last few days with David Frost. Remember that guy? Lord Frost, the Brexiteer, the guy who used to Remainer, was against the idea of leaving the single market and then jumped on board the Brexit bandwagon. She also aligned herself with Arlene Foster, a former leader of the DUP, who were ironically against the Good Friday Agreement when it first was signed.
And politically hollow. So we change and rewrite the Belfast Good Friday Agreement to erase the references.
Who is we? We rewrite the Good Friday Agreement. You can't write an agreement unilaterally. Is this, well, if Reform UK, which you'll probably be part of, gets into power, we're going to rewrite the Good Friday Agreement. No. You won't rewrite anything unless the other sides agree to that. Once again, I have never said, and no one who understands a little bit more than Suella Braverman of the Good Friday Agreement has ever said that it can never be rewritten. If it is to be rewritten, it would need the consent and the agreement and the cooperation of the stakeholders, the parties that were involved. You can't the Home Secretary can't rewrite the Good Friday Agreement. The British government can't even rewrite the Good Friday Agreement. It has to be, it's in the title, agreement. It involves the parties agreeing. Why is she so dense?
To the European Convention on Human Rights therein. We trigger Article 58 to give the Council of Europe 6 months notice of our departure. We pass laws in the UK Parliament, so we repeal the Human Rights Act. We make clear that
there will be sanctions from Europe. There will be sanctions maybe from the Irish government, and there'll be sanctions from the United States, because irrespective of who the president is, Congress has said that if you start tinkering with the Good Friday Agreement, the UK will face the consequences of that. I don't understand, honestly, why Reform UK, which she's probably going to join, give a crap about Northern Ireland. Why do they care about the Good Friday Agreement? In the sense that we want to rip it up and write a new one. They say we need to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, but we know that it's not necessary to leave in order to deport people, because obviously there are other countries in that convention who are deporting people. Even Reform UK will point to, look at what Denmark is doing. Look at how many people they're deporting. Well, if they are part of the convention and they're deporting people, then why do you need to leave the convention to deport people? It's nonsense.
The case law and the judgments from the Strasbourg court no longer bind UK courts. We make some changes to our Scotland Act, our Wales Act.
We make changes to the Scotland Act. Who is we again? The Scottish people, will they be consulted? Probably not. As always, Tories in Westminster will tell the Scots what to do. It's like, Scotland, you have to take this and like it, okay? Take your punishment and like it. So you have right-wing, far-right politicians in Britain, in England, I should say, who are saying what we're going to do is we're going to tear up the Good Friday Agreement, we'll rewrite it in the way we like it. And when it comes to Scotland and Wales, well, we'll make some changes and they'll just have to go along with it.
Our agreement with the EU, we have to make changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol and the Windsor Framework, possibly even scrap them. But
she's insane. She's literally insane. Scrap the Good Friday Agreement. Scrap the Northern Ireland Protocol. The Northern Ireland Protocol is there because of Brexit. You wanted Brexit. Your Brexit. It's there. Oh my goodness. I can't do any more of this. I can't do this anymore. You can't respond to this because it's insanity. my goodness.